dug it out, I think.
So, tell the camera how old it is and all that.
Oh yeah, it'll tell you on that. Probably over there on that.
He wants to tell the
But it's being recorded now.
video.
Yeah, it's that's 5,500 years at least old.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
Once more, welcome to New Grange. New Grange is a passage tomb. It's one of 40 passage tombs in the Boyne Valley. It's probably the most famous of the sites, but it's not even the largest. The largest is Knowth, which is situated behind New Grange. There are three great tombs, Knowth, New Grange and Dowth. Dowth is situated about 2 kilometers away in this direction, but is not visible from here. Until recently, all of these sites simply appear to be part of the local landscape. For example, New Grange, right into the 1960s. Photographs were taken here showing cattle grazing on top of the tomb. There was no demarcation or division between the natural and the man-made until the mid to late 60s when the archaeological work commenced here. However, we have known of this site's existence since 1699. In that year, a man called Charles Campbell rediscovered this place, not because he was interested in history or archaeology. Rather, he was interested in profit. Campbell had been granted the lands of the Boyne Valley shortly after the Battle of the Boyne. The original landowners were moved on. That's putting it politely. He took control. He wanted to improve or make more efficient local road networks. If you want to build new roads, you need stone. To get that stone, you need quarries. One of the sites chosen to act as a quarry, the hill, as it was then here at New Grange. Local people made him aware of the myths surrounding this site when he chose to discount these tales and ordered his men to dig. Fortunately for us, when they began digging, they began to dig directly in front of the entrance. And the first stone to come to light was this heavily carved entrance stone which you see here. When Campbell saw that stone, he realized that there was something of significance here. So instead of continuing to dig, he invited an eminent historian of the period to come here to take the first drawings and recordings of the interior. From that man, we know what the inside of New Grange appeared like in 1699. Fortunately, very little has changed internally. Externally, the site has changed totally in appearance. It now looks as it would have looked 5,000 years ago. Although in saying that, still one of the most commonly asked questions is when did we put this white stone into position? The assumption being that this is something that has been added to enhance the facade or appearance of the site. A simplistic assumption to make, but incorrect. This white stone is Wicklow quartz. It's been here for 5,000 years. Its origins lie around 80 kilometers away in this direction, in the Wicklow Mountains. 80 kilometers may not seem like a great distance today, but we speak of a much different period in Ireland's development. A time when the entire country was still heavily forested, inhabited by species that no longer exist in Ireland, such as wolves and wild boar. Putting it simply, travelling overland may not have been conducive to a long or healthy lifespan. But this was a dedicated, determined grouping of people. They wished to use the quartz in its construction, so they utilised the rivers and the sea. Movement of the quartz was impressive. But personally, I think the greatest testament to their determination was movement of the great stone, such as the curbstones, the large grey stones you see marking the perimeter. These stones weigh anything between 1 to 10 tons. There are 97 marking the perimeter. In total, over 400 were employed in its creation. Moved here at a time in Ireland's history before the invention of the wheel, before the introduction of the horse as a domesticated animal. It's been estimated that it would have taken 80 men, 3 days, to move one stone 3 miles. They had to move over 400, and that was but a small fraction of the material necessary for creation. So you can imagine it took a long time to build. Yet we're not speaking of a long-lived race of people. The average lifespan was between 30 to 35 years of age. The odds of reaching a significantly greater lifespan? Not good. So the people who began construction would have realized that in all likelihood it was to be their children or grandchildren who lived to see its completion, suggesting an importance to the society as a whole, not just to a small group at one particular time in their development. What that importance was, today no one can say with certainty. There are many theories and a great deal of conjecture, but it is likely that whatever the religious reasoning behind this structure's creation, that the solar alignment, the fact that on the shortest days of the year, the sun rises above the far horizon, shines across the valley, enters the tomb, illuminating an internal chamber, played a significant part. Now that solar alignment is what has made Newgrange most famous today. But that alignment is not unique. There are solar alignments throughout the world. From Mayan temples in Central America to Aboriginal rock art in Australia. Even in this valley, we've only examined 3 sites in any detail: Newgrange, Mouth and Douth. All 3 contain alignments. It just happens that this is the most well known. Mouth, behind Newgrange, is roughly aligned with the equinox. Equal day, equal night. Meaning that there are 2 passageways at Mouth and the sun enters twice. Douth over here is aligned with the setting sun on the 21st of December. The sun enters Newgrange on the mornings of the shortest days, travels across the sky, and as it is setting, enters Douth on the evenings of the shortest days. All achieved by a supposedly primitive Stone Age civilization. Yet they obviously had a vast awareness of their physical environment and a level of astronomical knowledge that the majority of people today do not possess. Yet even given all the physical evidence attesting to their intelligence, such as the structure itself, today, for the most part, when one mentions the phrase Stone Age man to the majority of people, there is still an unfortunate tendency to think of something akin to the Flintstones, not very sophisticated, not very intelligent, and certainly not capable of such precision within their architecture. Yet if anything sets this structure apart, it was the technical abilities of those who built it. When they were building here 5 millennia ago, they were building with such awareness that they understood that on the shortest days of the year, when the sun rises above the far horizon, to shine across the valley and into the chamber, the event does not occur at dawn. It occurs at local dawn. It is when the sun has risen above any local obstacle. The horizon is the obstacle. When the sun has risen above that point, it is no longer in alignment with the doorway that we will use. However, it is in exact alignment with the secondary opening above the doorway, which has become known as the roof box. If you wish, the roof box acts as a VIP entrance for the beam of light. Light travels straight across the valley, straight through the roof box and straight into the chamber. We, on the other hand, enter through the doorway, moving gradually upwards along a sloping path. 2 points do not intersect until you reach that internal chamber. In essence, what that means is the doorway that we will use can be sealed, blocking off all access as far as we are concerned from the interior. There's a stone slab specifically for that purpose just at the side of the entrance. That was in position when the tomb was rediscovered. However, whether that doorway remains open or shut, whether there is a human presence here or not, is totally irrelevant to the success of the alignment. The alignment itself will continue to occur year after year through the roof box due to the original precision of construction. And it was their ability to narrow down the focus for the beam of light to such an extent that sets this structure apart. A few more words in relation to the entrance stone, this heavily carved stone that you see here. The carving present has become known as Neolithic or New Stone Age art, offering us very little detail, simply a time frame. The Stone Age man created the artwork. As to what the artwork means, no one knows what Neolithic art means. That, however, has not stopped a great many people writing books, telling us what Neolithic art means. But it's guesswork, interpretation. There is no Rosetta Stone for Neolithic art. No linking language, no code breaker, which has allowed people's imaginations free rein. Theories spanning from the mundane to the fantastic. It all depends on your own personality, what you wish to believe. Some see the art as religious or ritual art. Others feel it may be hieroglyph or language. It could be purely decorative, art for art's sake. It may be drug-induced. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, admittedly, some of the carvings have taken on a life of their own. For example, in Ireland, probably the most famous piece of Neolithic art has become known as the tri-spiral. 3 circles, interconnected using one line, associated with life, death, rebirth, continuity, eternity, a very poetic and apt interpretation. Nevertheless, that is what it is, one of many possible answers. No one can give a definitive answer, because we simply do not know enough of the society that created this artwork 5,000 years ago. Now, a few words of caution or warning before we begin to make our way inside. The entrance is very low. It's deceptively so, and I speak from personal experience, can be painful. Keep your heads down on the way in But again, obviously on the way back out, there's an overhang here. Very narrow. That means all bags, cameras, any items you have with you, to your front, down low at knee level. Not at your side, not at your back, not hanging off your shoulders or around your neck. Off your bodies completely down. See these posts? These continue the diameter.
Yeah.
Across the hedge into the next field and then swung around over here. About an acre enclosed where animal sacrifice was conducted about 1,000 years after Newgrange was built. They were the same people who put these large standing stones into position.
These stones. Okay, and this was a wooden structure?
These markers, these wooden stone, or this wood henge is marked by these stone markers.
Okay.
These standing stones are original. These are part of a circle
Okay.
of 37 standing stones that went around the brow of what was then the collapsed tomb. 1,000 years after Newgrange was built.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so okay, that's fine.
Is a fairy ring.
Yeah. Well, the ring, normally fairy rings are. See, this is why so much of Ireland's archaeology has survived, because when we exit here, you'll see another mound, or basically on the other side of the road in the distance, you'll see two mounds. That flat field is some of the most fertile land in Ireland, and yet for generations farmers have gone around and around and around instead of over, because in the Celtic period these mounds were associated with their religion. When the Celtic belief system was converted into Christianity, that Christianity converted the belief into superstition. Superstition becomes folklore, folklore becomes myth, myth becomes leprechauns and the little people and the fairies. And that risk of bad luck is what has kept all these things surviving. But basically any earthwork that was not explainable became associated with the fairies in rural Ireland. So a ring on its own, until a physical dig takes place, it could be Iron Age, it could be the remnant of the Celtic Iron Age fort, it could be Bronze Age, it's unlikely to be Neolithic. The standing stones on their own like that, and even as part of a circle like you said, they're not normally associated with Neolithic, they're normally Bronze Age. So about 1,000 years after Newgrange was built.
Okay.
So those triangular shapes way up there, those are posts?
No, they're all 5,000-year-old artwork. Anything geometric, anything mathematical in appearance is a 5,000-year-old piece of carving.
Okay.
Anything alphabetical is stupidity. Anything geometric is 5,000-year-old art.
Okay.
You can see another example of that diamond motif over there.
Yeah, it's like
above the head.
still there, yeah.
Or you can see more linear aspects of the artwork, the chevronic or zigzag art.
Yeah, I see
along
that.
the side here.
That one there?
Yeah, that's all 5,000-year-old artwork.
Any speculations on the spirals?
Numerous speculations.
All speculations?
Yeah, there's no answer.
Okay.
I mean, you can see, probably the theories, as I said outside, are endless, because you're talking about an unprovable fact. So you can say whatever the hell you want, and no one can disprove it. One of the most extreme would be people like Eric von Daniken, Chariots of the Gods, who would suggest that because I've seen carving like this in Mayan temples, I've seen it in Namibian Bushman art in South Africa in the Namib desert. That doesn't mean there's any link between the peoples. Now, from his perspective, he would say it was ancient astronauts influenced the design. But you're talking about designs that are divided chronologically by thousands of years and geographically by thousands of miles. What it does say is that people are people. Our brain chemistry is exactly the same, whether I'm a Bushman or a Celt. We haven't changed in 5,000 years.
There's an American Southwest has
Anastasi, the Southwest, that's very similar
There's
carving.
caves that are even farther north that have that.
Yeah, and if you want to go really far north, or to the east coast, the mound builders on the east coast, the Mississippi Delta, a lot of the carving there is very
Well, those
similar.
mound builders, they look like this thing.
Yeah, they do, but they're made predominantly of earth as opposed to stone. Here we've only got a thin layer of earth covering 200,000 tons of rock.
Well, in Missouri, they're earth, but the ones in Wisconsin...
Oh, further north, yeah, as you're going towards the Canadian border, they're stone, yeah, more stone involved.
Most of those in Wisconsin were destroyed, but the ones in Wisconsin also, from the air, are a deer or a fox.
The shape, yeah.
And most of those were destroyed by farmers.
Yeah.
But some of those are stone-like.
Yes, yeah.
And there's one called the Cave of the Blue Mound, which is very similar.
Well, again, if you're using stone, this is the type of design. If you want something to stay standing, this is what they are going to use. It's a practical application of mathematics. They may not have been able to write mathematically, but they were able to physically represent physics. And this is a physical... If you go to the east coast or west coast of Ireland, you'll see beehive huts from the early Christian period. exactly the same type of architecture because it's something that works when you've got lots of stone and no way of sealing the stone together. So you'll see, it doesn't mean there's any connectivity between the cultures, it just means that they're all using their brains. And going back to the art itself, the similarities in the art, people think I'm being facetious when I mention drugs, but it doesn't matter how gifted you are as an artist, under psychedelic influences, this is the type of base geometry you're going to create. Not surprisingly, it was Berkeley in the 1960s who tests with LSD, and they used people, volunteers, they used spiders. Even spiders' webs will change into these type of geometric progressions under the influence. You're just doodling on a foam pad, and you're not thinking about it. This is the type of base geometry you're going to create. What changes meaning and context is environment. Environment shapes meaning. So one of the few existing languages that uses this symbolism would be Aboriginal rock, or Aboriginal art, painted art. And even within the Aboriginal culture, this symbol, a circle within circle, in one area it can mean woman, and in another area it can mean water, depending on the environment of the people who are using the art. So there's never any easy way of interpreting it.
And so we saw today the
Gallerus oratory,
so
the same principle.
Kind of
it's exactly the same principle, except it's a more linear use of the stone. Yeah.
Actually, no, on both sides it's a little started to
Dig. Yeah. That's not any weakness in the construction, it's actually weakness in the ground down there. The ground is going underneath. Yeah. You weren't down at Gallerus today, were you?
No, yes,
Oh, right.
sorry,
Okay. I was
I
thinking
said
that was
we
some
were-
traveling. Yeah.
But we drove the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like it was carved into it.
It was by probably a skilled stonemason hired by one of the nobility. This artwork, this graffiti, is not indigenous people for the most part. These are the more affluent members of society. These would have been the guests of the landowning classes, hence the Masonic graffiti you see up here.
Oh, yeah.
These are wealthy, affluent people. Someone who could afford to get a skilled mason to carve his name into the stone.
Well, I would think that looks like so that they could put like a structure in there, like a board that would.
No, it was just vanity. Someone wanted to leave his name on something old. You'll see the same as in the pyramids. You'll see it anywhere the empire went. You'll see names being left behind.
See
Yeah.
The diamond.
diamond?
Yeah.
It's
More
covered
diamonds over
up.
there. Yeah.
Would it be the same person doing that?
Well, given that the tomb took so long to build, and probably the people working on the ground level would have died before they got up that far. It may have been his descendant working on it. Some of the carving was done in situ. This carving was done in situ, so the stone was put into position and the carving was done. Some would have been done prior to placement, like this huge stone that you see here. They couldn't have carved that in situ. They would have had to carve it on the ground. So it shows how much advanced planning went into it. So theoretically, he could have planned ahead and carved that stone long before it was put into position.
But they knew where it was going to go.
Oh, they knew exactly where it was going to go. Nothing was random.
Oh my God. With such a construction, you would wonder how they could work it. You know,
It's amazing what you can do when you don't watch television 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Plus, it's a belief system. People wonder, cathedrals, medieval cathedrals, some of them are still not complete. They were designed 800 years ago, and they took hundreds of years to build. The people who designed them knew they would never live to see them finished, but it was important to their spirituality. This physical structure was a kind of worship.
Keep down.
Do I have to get under your hand?
Yes, you do.
I'm bad, I know. I filmed it all.
Around it?
Sure.
What do you think of it?
I'm impressed with the age, the size of the rocks, and the thought that this wall is the original wall.
That's amazing.
Yeah, lovely design, isn't it?
You know, like all the stuff in like Sicily, all those places were destroyed by the Christians. They knocked down the Temple of Hercules and dragged it to the ocean and threw it in. made a break wall out of it. And so nothing like this would have been left standing.
It wasn't standing up. Stand back then, it was just around the hill.
So they didn't know to do it.
Didn't know it was there.
And this is a wooden structure. Well, that's interesting that they'd build that overhang. Or that looks more like a reconstruction.
Oh yeah, this one here is reconstructed, alright.
Yeah, that looks like concrete to me. Oh, I wonder what that is over there.
That?
Yeah.
I think that was a local pub.
Yeah, they probably would have needed a pub. Oh, so they did that to expose those carvings. What? HD. This is 16 gig chip. That'll fill it up.
AVI or MPEG or
I can make it either one. Which would you rather have, AVI or?
MPEG 4.
Yeah, I have more than one MPEG, but I'll look and see if I have 4. I have a thing called Dropbox. And now you're taking a movie with the red light there.
Get Thomas to get a hold of that though.
We'll turn that off because they're talking to us.
This thing, he won't be.
Oh, see the red light? You're taking a movie right now. Now you're videotaped.
To shut down production, and there are fears the result could be stifling of economic recovery in the Asian powerhouse economy. But of greatest concern right now is unmeasurable human cost, with the death toll set to climb into the thousands and beyond.
This here is a living shillelagh. Probably the best one you ever, biggest one you ever seen. It's still alive.
So they would cut off a limb from that? And it's a black briar?
Blackthorn.
Blackthorn?
Yeah, blackthorn.
Blackthorn, okay.
Yeah.
Crabapple trees, blackthorn, and that's what they made their shillelaghs out of.
And this is even a bigger blackthorn. This one. Biggest shillelagh in here.
Yeah. So if you want a big shillelagh, you got to come to your tree?
Well, there's others, but there's some.
So this is the same rock style that they had on that 5,000 euro place.
Yeah.
But this is like only like a 500 euro place.
And heads off that way.
So this runs a really long way and it still exists.
It still exists. The only thing was is that, like, the tunnels in those days, they run for miles underground, right? So there was very little air. So what the monks used to do is they used to have like pipes, and they'd stick them along every 2 or 3 meters. They'd stick another pipe down through the tunnel, so the pipe always had ventilation. And the farmers then that would like inherit the land from their fathers, and they'd see these metal poles sticking up out of the ground, and no appreciation for what they were. Like, they went out, bent them down, smashed them down, and whatever. Like, not realizing what they were, but they basically made the tunnel unbreathable then.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. It's possible that somebody's like trying to renovate or excavate here
It looks like they just cleaned it up. Yeah. I've never seen it this clean. Ever. There used to be bushes that were growing right up to the top of this, and the whole thing was filled. You used to have to like crawl your way through all this bush and briars and everything.
Oh, wow.
That there, that bit of rock, that's got an animal in it or something. There's the bugs on the side.
You could be right.
Yeah. They'll probably have a good feeling sticking over here. That's what that one is anyway.
Well, here's some of the old stone, some of the writings that are.
Also, when they were cleaning up, they started,
Interesting stones.
See these?
yeah.
These would have been up on the walls and stuff.
This visitor from snow on the hills.
That's the McGillicuddy Range,
Yeah,
the highest mountain range in Ireland.
yeah. There's snow up there, all right. There's snow on them there, yes. And there's what they call it, drag caves. That's one of the most. It's a fantastic place to go.
Dry caves?
Drag caves.
What's the drag cave?
Drag is the name of the place, and the caves are under the
I just got this email from John that lives in Madison.
Mike Collins solution. What's Mike Collins solution? Yeah.
See the tops of their heads, even when I held my camera up like that. Yeah, I should go up there and tell him to move over. I don't know, but I can't see anything.
There's a ghost train there.
Well done to everyone here. British tradition one on the other getting stronger and stronger.
We're coming to get you. We're coming to get you.
Coming along here, they do tours of the alley at night, they do the alley,
There's more there things in Dublin at night time. You know, you go into a pub and they have where's an overnight stay actually in hotels and to do a murder scene.
Oh, like a murder mystery that you get to solve?
Yeah. But I was at a thing in Boston one night years ago, and they had this murder, and at the interval they passed around a piece of paper, and they had to say who you thought did the murder.
Yeah.
And you could go to.
So here I am in Bavaria, and this is the city of Ulm, and that's where I'm staying, and that was a Nazi officers club. Later on it was an American officers club.
The back hole, and Leon ball went in the second hole. He took his ball out and put it up like that.
Oh yeah.
I said, no, Leon, what?
Up there? Why didn't he drop it in it?
Then, everybody telling me to be quiet. Don't be telling me to be quiet, ain't no damn kid. No, no.
How's everything anyway, Charlie? You look as healthy as
Motherfucker, you got my number. Where your black ass at? we just got back. I'm in Harvard on all the embassy. You at Ricky? Oh. We got the bus of slob and shit. I'm kissing her, my dick getting hard. I saw. She's no, we can't do nothing. I'm on the rag. Langsam, langsam. Get down!
lang! Hier, Matze, 11, Mann!
Hang on pass. Hang on pass. God damn. Come up. Das ist. Du bist all around. Du bist ein guter Spieler.
Mit dem Ball, Mann!
Good, Patrick.
Das ist Joe Brown.
Motherfucking movie. I guess this motherfucker running. He's a mess that red button.
Sorry, Dario.
2 Minuten dann. Ja! Ja! Joe! Joe! Hey! Nochmal! Ja!
Game over with.
So Ian's telling me that all of this turf here with these squares are that way because they used to cut sod.
Yeah, and that's a huge big hole. It was 40 feet long and you go down as far as you like. And the further down you went, the blacker it got and the better it burned.
Why are there no trees growing here?
Because it's too fucking wild for them. And they won't grow in the bog.
So that hill is a bog?
That's a whole, all that is a bog.
My vision of a bog is like below water level.
Not at all, no. There's the television aerial up there behind. See it?
Yes.
Wicklow. Looking straight ahead.
Here, you can point the camera where you want.
Well, yeah, looking straight ahead out there. At the bottom of those hills, there's a lake called Loch Bray. And there's huge wildlife. The goats live up there. Deer live up there. It's great fishing. And many films have been made up there. There's a beautiful garden down in it. And in the winter, the only way getting into it is by helicopter because the snow is very, very heavy. Now right here in front of us, you see a little stream. That becomes a river, well, and it flows into the Irish Sea about 10 miles from here. It's called the Dargle River. And it flows in a town called Bray. Over this direction here is what's known as a turf bank. This is what we burn in fires, not so much now, but years ago it was the only thing that we had here in Ireland that we could afford. We couldn't afford coal, it was too expensive to import. So turf is cut by what looks like a spade, a garden spade, but it has a little side on it as well. And you can purchase or hire a bog 40 feet long by 6 feet wide, and you can go down dig down as far as you like. You can go down to Australia if you want. But the further down you go, the darker the turf becomes and the better it is for burning. Each piece of turf is about, I suppose, maybe 30 inches long, about 5 or 6 inches wide. You place it on the ground, and then when you get a few sunny days, you turn it over, and then you make a stuck out of it, which is 4 pieces sticking up at an angle and 1 piece across the top. And the idea is the piece across the top saves it from getting wet. Then you make bigger heaps of it. Modern times you put it in bags and bring it home and stack it again. And you can see right down there some of the turf. Hello.
I'm trying to figure out these bog things.
No problem. I live down the road now. This van is from Wisconsin in the United States. I'm Liam. This is Robert.
Hey Robert, we're from Iowa.
Liam? Hi, Iowa.
Yeah,
Iowa.
You Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of really strange. Yeah, the whole ground shakes. You're like a giant. Okay, let's figure this out.
There's a lot of tannin in that water.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, look at how red it looks.
Yeah.
Oh, metal.
It's hard.
Very dusty
It's
and
hard.
smoking.
That's dried out. You ever smell? You've probably heard it smell it burning, haven't you?
No.
No, I haven't. It's a very distinct smell to it. That's how it feels. Huh.
Yeah, I thought that would be like dirt.
Yeah, feel how hard that is. It's just.
Now you see,
Oh, that's harder than one I picked up.
Yeah.
right, the process is this.
Oh
right?
my gosh, look.
Watch now, watch. You just put them, he digs them and I come along and I do this. I put them down, right? And then in a few days' time I'll put them over,
gosh.
right? Then when they're dry, I go 1, 2, 3.
So that's what you were meaning, north, east, south, and west.
And then I put the one in the middle. Right?
Wow.
And they will be all over the place.
Miles and miles of them. I mean, just.
And then, after a couple of weeks, maybe if you had a real fine week, be up here at daybreak and you leave at sunset.
Just picking that stuff.
And you put them, your man O'Kane, Mercury Engineering.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead now, Lord of Mercy, but it's a beautiful place. There's a lovely beach, and I live down around. Beautiful beach and all down there. But I think Lee Dunn owned it at one stage.
There's a beach down this.
So this is a English workhouse. The recent prince was here. And this is like Charles Dickens' Great Expectations place. And it's funny, we've come downhill and the trees are down here, but they don't grow up there.
This is, you right?
Yeah, the tape's going.
This is Glencree, County Wicklow, and the building's here in front of you, beside the church.
Oh, that door's open.
Yeah, we can go in there in a minute.
Okay.
The old buildings, not the modern ones straight in front of us, but the old buildings have been restored, and it's called now the Glencree Centre for Reconciliation.
Reconciliation of what?
Because the Brits owned it at one stage, and you can see on the board there all the people who have supported this. Department of Foreign Affairs, Soldiers and Sailors Lancers, the International Fund for Ireland, which was started by the present ambassador, Dan Rooney of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and all the other various South African embassies. Finnish embassy.
Wow, the acoustics. Groin vaulted ceiling. The acoustics. St. Mary's. St. Patrick's Church. What's this, the confessional? What?
There's the organ in front of you. See, all right?
And people put notes for prayers?
I see, so again. Heavenly Father, please help me to do what is right for
These Stations of the Cross were...
one of the Napoleon.
How about that?
Because he came here to hunt deer a few times.
Really? I saw no deer, but the echo is awesome. This tile was laid afterwards, I would assume, because it's elevated.
I would say these tiles came after these tiles.
Yes. No.
No, that would have been...
These tiles are on top of those.
There, yeah, but I'd say they put them back there because there was a wooden floor here at the time.
Oh, they covered the... So this is the German graveyard. About 10 miles away, I'm told, is a beach from the ocean where German sailors and flyers were washed ashore, and they were brought here and buried. So this is all Germans, and a local man took really good care of this place and apparently built some of this stuff, and he was given an award by the Germans for taking care of their dead. So he's buried up by the church, and these are the Germans here. And I haven't a clue what any of... Well, there seems to be a lot of them. And somebody's burning candles on them right now. I'm surprised that they did so much for their bloody, deadly enemy. So the Irish did not want to fight the Germans?
No, they weren't involved in the war.
Oh, they weren't involved in the war at all.
Now you see, that's in German and Australia.
But that's in German and what?
In German and Irish. And maybe English. Yeah. It was for me to die under the Irish sky. They're finding breath in good Irish earth. What I dreamed and planned bound me to my fatherland. But war sent me to sleep in Glencree. And passion and pain were my loss, my gain. Pray as you pass, make God, to make good my loss. Stand my ground. And we translated it into German, and then that's Osgeiga Strohan. This
is Gaelic.
Yeah. Torn sheer corner fall. There's a seat to be found. And glosses the Irish for green.
So the Irish were not involved in World War II?
No, they were neutral. De Valera wouldn't let us in. He was right.
Well, it's called Glen du Lac. It's the glen between two lakes. There's a castle here. That
That
little.
was this, yeah, that was the sacristy.
Oh, well, is that more stone ladder up there?
Yeah. The stone ladder, and it was Cromwell who destroyed all these churches.
Really? Yeah. Oh, right, because these would be Catholic and he was not.
And the monasteries, yeah.
So yeah. Well, he changed England for sure.
Yes, more than that. Changed history.
And the Puritans were all Cromwell, run out of here.
Right.
Thank you. What's your name?
Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome.
Okay, now it's gone. So I can see where you live.
Straight out there. You see the pylons over there on the horizon?
I see 2 sheep, then I see...
No, on the horizon.
Pylons.
Yeah, see? On the horizon.
Oh, yeah. To the left.
I know that's where they go by near us there.
Yeah, this is the, ideal place to build a castle. You could see for miles. I bet on a clear day they could see the ocean.
Probably.
Libby, what you doing there?
Take a photo.
Ah, there's your face. Okay, gotcha. This is called the Mound of Terra, and it's a pre-Christian holy place, I think. Or the court of the first kings of Ireland. No clue. This earthen mounds are in like circle shapes, and that's all that's left. So
see that mound over there, that one?
Yeah.
That's a bigger circle.
Oh, so this looks like it would be a town with secure perimeters. Your wife was telling me these are prayers to Saint Bernadette, right? Bridget. This is very much like the Indians do. No, they don't.
You won't be winning any prizes for your singing today.
Sing for me. You're a famous author now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were late for the singing, but you didn't miss anything.
No,
poor performance.
Just as well you weren't here.
A true Irish bard singing. Of course I missed something. What was
from yourself?
I live in Wisconsin. What was your name again?
Michael Slavin.
Michael Slavin.
Yeah, Sinead.
Michael Sinead?
Michael Slavin. Sinead in Irish is that's it.
Oh, really?
That's it. Yeah, Sinead.
So that's your name? That's it?
Michael Slavin. And then I say Sinead after that. Simply to say...
There's no more to his name other than...
Oh, I understand.
See, you say, my name's Michael Slavin. And then I say, Sinead. That's it. So, lei Italia, no?
Sì.
Suo madre e padre?
Yes, they came from different villages in Sicily.
Ah, in Sicily, right.
I have.
Sicily,
everybody is in jail there, isn't they?
Yeah, it's just like Ireland.
No, it's not. No.
Yes, it is.
The ones that should be in jail are not in jail.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, that's just like everywhere.
Yeah, we let them off.
Our politicians.
Have you gone to Sicily to see the home place?
Yes, I have.
Ah, great. Is the old house still there?
I couldn't. My father had died already, and I had his birth certificate and everything, but I don't know which house was his.
All right, okay.
I thought a name like Salvatore Bono, and knowing the birth date that I would find it. Well, there was 4 Salvatore Bonos. And it wasn't his birth date, it was like a holy day and everybody came in from the mountains. So all the people brought their kids down to get baptized on the same day.
Oh, I see, right. So they were all... Yes.
Any one of them could be my father, I don't know. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you and thanks for coming in.